Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you as always by Lay of the Land, where we bring you your top stories making headlines in Israel every Monday to Thursday. Now, of course, the big topic here that we are focusing on predominantly is Operation Swords of Iron, or as many of you will be more familiar with, Israel's war against Hamas. Now, just to remind people, Hamas is an internationally prescribed terror organization. This makes it illegal to support them in many countries. And I've been watching with great concern and a great deal of distress how the calls for a global jihad or day of rage resulted in many rallies across many cities, across many countries that were celebrating the butchery of Israeli citizens, the murders, the rapes, the brutality, and the kidnapping of Israeli and foreign nationals. I have heard from many of you in cities like London, Paris, Montreal, all over the world who are gravely concerned about the situation for their community, for the Jewish community, and even many people who are not Jewish expressing their concerns with the level of violence at these pro-Palestinian rallies. We all stand together here in Israel, and when we say that we are here to surgically remove Hamas, this is what we mean: a terrorist organization that revels in brutality. And I also want to emphasize that Israel's war is not with the Palestinians. Our war is for the Palestinians. We want to eradicate Hamas, which is only equal to ISIS in its depravity, so that both Israelis and Palestinians have a chance at a better future in this region. So let's take a look at those recent developments. Israel has continued to engage in strikes on Hamas targets within the Gaza Strip. Now, I know for many of you, you are seeing some distressing images coming in from Gaza on your news coverage around the world. And I understand that. It's distressing for us in Israel as well. We didn't want this war. Hamas invited this war upon the people of Gaza and on Israel. So I want to just recap a few things. Israel does not occupy Gaza. Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005, including uprooting all our dead. Gaza also shares a border with Egypt. So, if anybody has any issues that people from Gaza are not being led into Egypt, please address all complaints to your nearest Egyptian embassy. Egypt had kept the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt closed. It had been opened earlier today to allow in humanitarian aid. However, the Egyptians are not allowing in Palestinian refugees. We also have confirmed reports that it is Hamas, not the Israeli army, that is preventing people from Gaza moving from the north of the Strip to the south of the Strip. The people of Gaza are complaining, and we have this in video evidence and phone calls saying that Hamas are blocking their exits, are detonating IEDs on the side of the road, and are actually taking away their car keys and their identity cards. Israel has turned on the water supply in the south of Gaza, also to encourage civilians to move out of the active combat zone. Israel has declared our intention to capture Gaza City. Now, I also want to be very clear on something as well. We have no intention whatsoever of reoccupying the Gaza Strip. We pulled out in 2005, and we have no interest in imposing our sovereignty over the people of Gaza. What this will entail after the war, that is still to be discussed and debated, but it is not our intention. I also must remind people that rockets are still being fired from the Gaza Strip towards Israel, some towards where I live in Modi'in just a couple of hours ago. Now, in tandem with this, we have had rockets and anti-tank fire fired from Lebanon towards our northern positions. The IDF have struck Hezbollah targets in the south of Lebanon and have evacuated Israeli citizens from a 2-kilometer radius from the border with Lebanon. In tandem with that, we have also evacuated our citizens from what we call the Gaza envelope towns and communities, what's left of them anyways. These are towns like Sderot and others. So Israel, according to one of our Hebrew news channels yesterday, has about 60,000 Israeli refugees internally in the country. We are trying our best to take care of them, opening our homes, opening schools. And yes, there have been members of the Arab community that have opened up their homes to refugees. Now, you might have heard reports that the IDF have struck Aleppo airport in Syria. We know that Iran uses Syria as a conduit to attack positions in Israel. Our army has said they are keeping an eye on the entire region and will not tolerate attacks on our sovereignty and on our citizens from any point in the Middle East. Now let's talk a little bit more about the humanitarian crisis for Israelis. The IDF confirmed just a short while ago that they had notified the families of at least 199 Israelis that their loved ones are being held hostage. We do expect this number to rise, and we also expect the number of our murdered to rise from 1,300 and growing, because as we are able to clear more communities, we are finding more and more people who were murdered. It is estimated that Hamas could have about 350 hostages that they have taken. We don't have that as a confirmed figure. It is an estimate. The Red Cross have announced that they are appealing to Hamas to allow them access to the hostages as well. I know many of you are waiting with bated breath when Israel is going to go in on a ground offensive. The IDF has conducted what they call localized raids with tanks and with soldiers. This is to try and retrieve the bodies of Israelis that have fallen, that might be in Gaza, and of course always intelligence where our hostages have been held or are being held. A ground offensive is very, very difficult for all of us sitting at home, because it means that our soldiers go into extremely difficult conditions, a lot of booby traps, a lot of IEDs, a lot of going from house to house and having to engage in hand-to-hand combat. And many of you watching right now have family members, have loved ones, have friends serving in the IDF. We could not be more proud of our soldiers. We have lost 281 who have fallen since the 7th of October. I also want to speak a moment about the Israeli police. We have lost 54 members of Israel's police force. Now, the Israeli police force were the first responders on that horrific day. 54 have now been identified, many of them women. We don't talk enough about the police and all that they do. And we also don't realize that our police force is made up of many women, many of them Bedouin and many of them Arab as well. Yediot Ahronot, Hebrew newspaper today, confirming that at least 19 Bedouin have been murdered by Hamas since October the 7th. So as I said to you last week, they didn't just come for Jews. They came for everything alive in their sight, including animals, including Arabs, Christians, Muslims, Bedouin, foreign nationals, anyone in their sight, they just eliminated. This is not just a catastrophe for Israel. This is a global catastrophe. We do have news that President Biden is expected to visit Israel on a solidarity visit sometime this week. President Zelensky of Ukraine wanted to come. He has been a stalwart supporter, however, was advised that maybe this is not the time. Understand it. It's very, very difficult diplomatically to balance between Russia and Ukraine, especially as they are engaged in a war between themselves as well. It is also expected that the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz will visit Israel as well sometime this week. So at the moment, a lot is happening. The situation is very, very fluid. I just want to thank you all for your continued support, your prayers, your solidarity, and we feel it here in Israel. Many of us here are existing just moment to moment. We're still in a daze as day by day we hear the stories, we hear the accounts of what happened on the 7th of October. They are devastating beyond what any of us can bear. But make no mistake, we will bury our dead and we will help each other stand taller, stand stronger, stand prouder than ever before. We may be battered, but we will not be broken. Now, just a reminder to you to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. We have a lot of new material up, a lot of in-depth coverage on the situation at the moment in Israel. Our Facebook page is at Lottel Site. Give us a like, share, follow. You guys know what to do. You guys are pros. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. If you do like our content, please click on that red subscribe button. And we love your comments. So keep them coming. And we are on X as well. You can find us at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks for the Israel Brief, and I'll speak to you guys again tomorrow.